This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, welcome back everyone. In the previous segment, we completed understanding how do you document the requirements for the illustrative example, right? I think we looked into the test cases creation. And I've also mentioned that it's not a mandatory activity for the business analyst to be creating test cases, but it is a good to know process because as a business analyst you will be validating the test cases created by the QA team and suggesting them if they have missed out any specific scenarios from creating test cases for it. So you need to know how it works, and I hope you have been able to even create some example test cases and work accordingly on it. Now, the next thing that we'll look into is, as I mentioned, a little bit of agile based concepts. We will look into it, post which we will get into the capstone project. Okay, so coming into agile, we will not be learning everything about agile because it's a huge topic, and there are way too many things that can be covered within agile. uh, you can talk about how it started, which is the origins. You can talk about the manifesto, the principles, how is it different for working in agile versus waterfall, what are the different frameworks, and which of those framework is very important. The within scrum again, what are the ceremonies, what are the events, and what is definition of done, story points, estimations. There are way too many things. In fact, you can have an entire course on it. There is of course a course that I've created on it, that is a different thing altogether. But from a business analyst perspective, like if you get into a project, what are the most the key things that you should definitely be knowing? I want to focus more on that thing because whether you might have taken a look at it or not, but we have almost 50 videos or that we have gone through till now. So I don't want to make it much more lengthier course for you guys. This is more like to give you the basic understanding. The remaining things, it will come in due course of time when required. Okay, so coming back. So user story mapping is very important from a business analyst perspective because how do you document the requirements in a Scrum framework based project? Within Agile, Scrum is one framework. There are other frameworks like Lean, Kanban, and all, but this is the major one. So within Scrum, how do you document the requirements? If you look at it, the story mapping is what really gives you an idea on it. Okay, so that's the reason I thought let's spend some time on it. So if you look at it, the word here itself, it says user story, and we have already seen like what is the template of it, what is acceptance criteria and all. Uh, but you don't directly jump into creating user story right away because when you have to look at requirements, there will be a possibility of clubbing few of the user stories together based on commonalities between among the requirements that is being discussed about in a couple of user stories. And then once that is there, you will be able to club that set of user stories with other set of user stories altogether. The purpose of doing this is because for easily identifying and categorizing the requirements and being able to track it properly. Okay, so as part of it, if you look at it, um, the way we do it is, at the topmost level, you'll have something called as theme, and then below that, you'll have something called as epics. Each theme can have multiple epics, and each epic can have multiple features included in it. And the final block of it would be your user stories. Okay, in short, it is referred to as story. So, user story is the final block of it. And when you find a set of user stories which all can be clubbed together because of the common functionality that they're focusing on, you can put all of those together in one feature. And if you have a couple of features which can be clubbed together, you form an epic and club it together. That is how it works. You can actually omit the theme part because theme is like actually a greater or a higher level of categorization that we do, which usually will not be required in most of the projects. To give you an example, let's say about this food delivery app itself. Now, let's say this company, your client wants to have a food delivery app as well as a website. Okay, let's consider they want two platforms. Like as a customer, I should be able to log into their website and book a particular food item and get an order confirmation, or I can download and install their app and do the same thing. Now, these two are different platforms altogether, but providing the same functionality. Okay, the end objective is the same thing, right? So now I can say that my website is one theme and app is one theme. Okay, now within that, this it's the same thing. Like I'm logging here, I'm logging in there. I'm making a payment here, I'm making a payment there. I'm selecting a food item over here, I'm selecting a food item over there. I'm adding a user review over here, same over there. So it's all the same, but the platform is different. Based on platform, there could be some differences. For example, I might not be getting the additional welcome credits if I uh, uh, if I create an order through a website, whereas I might get it through app because the company wants to incentivize the app installation. Possible. So that is one thing. Or some things are more easy to be showcased in a website than in a mobile app because of the screen size restrictions. So your website can be better than an app. So there will be some additional features in it. So like that, there could be few changes, but overall both the platforms at a high level perform the same functionality. If there is something like that, then there's themes. But as I said, you don't really get into the concept of themes being used in a particular project. But of course, you'll have the remaining three. So talking about epics, features, and user stories, let me take an example that makes things a little bit more easy. Okay, I did mention that epics will have multiple features and every feature will have multiple user stories, right? So let me take an example here for you. So same food delivery app, if you look at it, let's talk about user login. Okay, so if you talk about the login section of your app or a website, okay, now let us consider the user login as an epic. Okay, so if this is an epic, what are the multiple features that can be part of it? Think of it, what are the different possibilities? Can I say that uh, a new user and an existing user, both of them can log in, right? For a new user to log in, there will be different things that need to be done, but for an existing user there could be different things to be done. But the purpose of both is to be able to log into the app and verify the existing options of restaurants or food items and create an order, right? So I would say that user login is the epic here. New user is one feature and existing user is another feature. Okay, so we have looked at one epic which has two features. Now, what can be the user stories? So here under new user, you can have a couple of user stories, and under existing user, you can have another couple of user stories. So under new user, maybe if I'm a new user, first of all, I have to create an account for myself, right? Without even creating an account, how can even I log in? That is not possible, right? So that is one option. The second thing is, of course, even if I do not have an account, I can log in through Google, wherein there's a integration with the Google account service for this mobile app. So it helps me to log in without even creating an account because it will directly refer to my Google account. So these two can be user stories. Now create account can be a user story, login through Google can be another user story. How do you write a user story? We have already covered it in a couple of videos earlier itself. So I don't want to get into those details like what is a user story, how do you write the acceptance criteria and all. I hope it is already clear. You can refer to the previous video. Okay. Now, what can be the user stories within your existing user? Now, if you are an existing user, how do you log in? So one thing is like I've already created an account. So when I have created an account, I would have also created some credentials. Like okay, you might have asked, okay, what is your username? What username do you want? I would have created a username. I would have created a password. So using that, I will be able to log in next time when I'm an existing user, right? That is one thing. Or the second thing is, maybe you would be asking me to create a pin, some 4-digit pin, because entering multiple characters in username, entering multiple characters in password is like, a little time taking. I want to make it quicker. So I'll say create a pin, and I allow you to create a 4-digit or 6-digit pin. You open the app, enter the pin, you're logged in. So these are two methods. So now these two methods can be the user stories, right? Login through pin, if that is a user story, how will you write it? You'll say, as a user or as a customer, I want to log in using my pin method as an existing user, so that I can utilize the option of creating an order in the app. Okay, that can be user story. And within that acceptance criteria, what you'll write, you'll say that the pin entered cannot be wrong beyond 3 times. If it is no, one of the acceptance criteria can be that the maximum number of attempts that can be done to enter the right pin is 3 times. If the customer enters wrong pin 3 times, then block them for maybe half an hour. And the second thing can be provide an option of forgot pin, and how it should work. And third thing can be that if the customer wants to create a new pin, maybe you write that particular point. That can be another acceptance criteria point. So you have 3 4 conditions which you put in the acceptance criteria. Same thing for create login through username and password. What happens if login is wrong, reset password, etc., etc.? That can be coming as the additional. It can be as an additional user story itself, or it can be part of your acceptance criteria of your login through username and password. Okay, I hope things are clear. So the way it works is, you first get the major requirements which will actually form your epics, and then you start drilling down, and each epic will further give way to multiple features getting created, and every feature further will have user stories. Shall we look at one more example? Okay, so the one more example is payment. Now consider payment to to be an epic. Okay, now within that, what can be the features? It will help if you can pause and think of it and then come back. Okay, but anyways, let me tell you. So wallet payment is one thing, online banking can be one option, and payment in cash, that can be another feature. So you have payment as one epic. Within that, you have 3 features. Okay, now again, within these features, what can be the user stories? Within wallet, what are the different things that are possible? You can add money to the wallet, you can check balance in wallet, and you can encash the credits. Like, you install the app, you get these many credits. You make a purchase of this much amount, then you get some credits. You can refer some of your friends, you get these many credits. Now all those credits can be encashed in the wallet, convert into a credit wallet points or something like that, and you click on it, your wallet, the amount that is there in it can increase, right? So that has to be developed, right? When that has to be developed, you need to mention that particular points as requirements in user story, and that could be this encash credits to wallet. That can be the user story. Similarly, now online banking is another feature. What can be the user story in it? Internet banking. How does the internet banking work? How do you'll say that as a customer, I want to use my internet banking option to make payment so that I can confirm my order. So that can be user story. Within that, you'll mention all the respective terms and conditions that need to be fulfilled in order to develop and thoroughly test this online banking option as payment. That will come in the acceptance criteria. Then finally, payment in cash. You can say cash on delivery. That is the thing. So here, if you see, there is no hard and fast rule that you must definitely have these many number of user stories within a feature, or you must have these many number of features within an epic. There is no hard and fast rule like that. It all depends on the specific project and the requirements that you're working on. In fact, if I give two of the business analysts a particular project and ask them to, prepare a list of epics, features, and user stories, there can be a hell lot of difference. One person might have created just one epic and multiple features, and within every feature, multiple user stories. The other one might have split it further into 3 epics, and each and every epic had few features and user stories. Both can be correct in their own way. Okay, the end objective is to ensure that the requirements are clear enough and easy to understand for the business users as well as for the developers and the QA team, and everyone should be aligned on the end objective. If that is happening, that's enough. That you don't have to really, stick to too many core principles as such and all. But it is good to know that okay, there is an option of creating epics, features, and user stories. And again, if you have, a sort of a commonality that you can identify among multiple epics, you can then club it together and form themes also. That's another thing. So this is how the story mapping happens. This is one of the core key concepts that you should know as a business analyst. Okay, so spend more time, try to come up with your own examples of what can be epics, features, and user stories. That will really help you in your interview process also. Okay, because when you think on your own, when you come up with examples on your own, the probability of you remembering it for a longer time will definitely be higher. And when you are asked those questions in any interview, you will be able to answer in a much better fashion. Okay, so this is about the user story mapping. We can spend a little amount of time on the major ceremonies where you play a key role as a business analyst. That would be mostly your sprint planning, and then also we need to look into what is backlog grooming and all. So let's look into those things in the next segment. Okay, so we'll close this here for now. Thanks everyone.